Unmuted.
Very good evening, everybody. Uh, I am really happy that you guys have turned up in really good number today. You know that I've put together. I can see close to around 456 participants from across India. That the audience that we have today. So once again, welcome you to Business Toys. Today we are having a webinar, which is in fact a very interesting and a very good topic to discuss about. That is, how are the data scientist and the data analyst different. So yes, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Omkar. As you must have seen my LinkedIn profile, I saw many views happening on my LinkedIn profile from last couple of days. uh, I am basically the one of the co-founders of Business Toys, as well as I head a company called Basel Analytics. I take care of the global, global research team. We have a team of 20 people in our research, and I take care of the entire strategy part for strategy as well as business development part for our company. So it's been almost 8.5 years for me being into this in this particular field, and it's been very much excited. Uh, I'll share my experience with everybody in this session with regards to how you should build your career into data science, and what are the different opportunities which are present. And in today's session, I take the opportunity to help you, everybody, so that you can get over these confusions and these doubts which are there with respect to the profiles which exist in data science. Now, I would like to first ask everybody, just can you just message in the chat box what are your key expectations from this workshop? Because I just want to see whether the key expectations that you have and what I'll be delivering in this session are matching. So can I have a quick round of a chat in the chat box? Expect like giving me a short answer about what are the two things, what are the two most important things that you're looking out uh, when when you are joining this particular webinar. I'll just give you 20 seconds of time. Can we have this please quickly? I'll repeat once again. uh, I just wanted your a quick expectations about the workshop. What do you expect from this entire webinar? So okay, I have some shares saying pursue data science as a career. Anybody else? Okay, how will this help us to like grow in our career in future? Scope of data science, clear cut difference between the analyst, scientist, business analytics professional. Wonderful. I have so many answers in fact. So a clarity on data analyst. What about a day to day activities of a data scientist and a data analyst? Very good. I have many of you talking about multiple things. Who is eligible? Okay, very good. Job scope. I think I'm covering all this. Answer. Okay, about how a fresher should make a career transition. Okay, so how will this will help us? Okay, a best fit for the okay, fine. A business opportunities in okay, wonderful business opportunities for data scientists deciding hat. But I'll try to cover this point also. Okay, scope of data scientist in future. Okay, wonderful. I have so many of you messaging me about your expectations, and I think almost 80% of them I'll be able to deliver you in this particular workshop, and the remaining whatever we cannot deliver. Okay, so perhaps I can have an email round, or you can mail me if I'm not able to cover certain aspects. All right. So yes, I'll be. One more important thing I've received is, there is Shashikant who is asking me about Sheshkant who is asking me about market research and data science similarities. Okay, wonderful. So I have so many questions to be answered in this particular session. Let's begin, guys. So the basic thing is, I would like to address first. I would like to use a funneling approach for solving our questions relating to the the field of data science. Okay, I mean to say especially with respect to the data analyst and the data scientist. Okay, I have one more interesting question here. What is the level of exposure to the field of data science? Okay, I will be telling you what areas I have been exposed, some use cases I will definitely share. I didn't mention you one thing that when it comes to the specialization in this particular field, uh, I specialize in the data science aspects with respect to e-commerce industry and healthcare industry. These are two areas which I've worked for last almost 6.5 years. So more into e-commerce, like 3 or 4 projects into the healthcare long-term projects, and I'm involved right now with respect to that. So I have posed one question here about like different levels of your experienced people that I have right now over here. There are 20. Okay, there are still people voting. I will just wait for some more people to answer. So I have, all in all, 65% of the people or 67% of the people who are newbies. Around 18% of you are unaware of what data science is. 12% people are intermediate and 2% experts. Wonderful. I would like to have the people who are experts also helping me, addressing some of the people and helping others to get into this field of data science. All right. So yes, I would like to, proceed my session from here. So, talking about the confusions, I'll tell you what are the major confusions around the terminologies. The major confusion is with respect to the first, artificial intelligence. The second point is data science. The third point, machine learning. And the fourth point, deep learning. Okay. So these are, the key terminologies where most of the people are finding difficulties in understanding. They confuse between the data science, they confuse between the machine learning, they feel machine learning is something different, deep learning is different. So there are a lot of confusions around these terms, right? So I thought, these are the fundamental reasons why people have confusions regarding the profiles also. So let us address the bigger funnel about the terminologies which fall under these different categories, right? So that is the reason I thought let's move to the root cause of this problem, because of which even this confusion exists, right? So what I've done is to simplify your approach of understanding with respect to the data science. I have created a small kind of a model which will help you visualize all the aspects which I mentioned in my previous slide using an umbrella, right? So if you can look at this umbrella, I have highlighted the top part of the umbrella, which is the shelter of the umbrella, as I call that as a data science. So data science is a vast field, and there are many things which comes under this field. So it's a big shelter which encapsulate multiple techniques which are used for maybe the decision making, or maybe building some artificial intelligence systems or products and so on, right? So the main stem on which this particular umbrella stands, or main purpose, one of the main purpose is artificial intelligence, right? So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a field, I'll be discussing more about this in my next slide. It's basically a approach of making machines intelligent, okay? And the entire thing is sheltered under data science, right? And how we can make a particular machine, or how we can build a product related to data science, or I'm going to say the artificial intelligence, is by using machine learning. Okay, so you should fit this particular umbrella in your mind. So you should first understand that data science is a very big field. Okay, so it's like, you can say, science itself is a very big field, right? And inside science there are multiple other multiple other things which comes, like engineering, like your like biology or whatever. There are different fields which shelters under the term called science. The same way, we have data science, and under data science we have multiple fields, and one of the main important field under data science is something called artificial intelligence. And the artificial intelligence is driven by, okay, it's driven by one button that we have in the umbrella, that is machine learning. So we build the AI systems by using machine learning. Let's go into more detail about these concepts. right? So I'll be taking your answers. There are some questions which are coming to me, and I would like to have a small poll before I even present this next slide. So yeah, can you just tell me, like based on what I have, what I just said in my previous slide, what should be the order? Okay, what do you feel should be the order of hierarchy? Okay, when I say you should tell me what shelters what. Okay, wonderful. Okay, I'm getting many answers in fact over here. Okay, so still people are answering this question. Okay, so you should be, I'll just repeat my question once again. So you should basically tell uh, which is the bigger field, which encapsulate the next field, and then what's the last thing in the order. So the bigger field should be having the greater than sign towards it. Okay, so I have 34% of the people giving me the right answer. And this 34% of the people says AI is the bigger field. AI is the whole, universe about building the concepts of, like the intelligent machines. Machine learning is the subset of it. And then deep learning. That's the correct answer, and only 34% of the people could tell me that. Okay, so let's see how this is how this entire concept is encapsulated. All right, so this is your artificial intelligence, the bigger system. Okay, and as I said you before, the artificial intelligence is the approach by which we make a machines think like a human or behave intelligently, right? And when I say that you should make a machine intelligent, the machine should be able to sense, they should be able to reason, act, and adapt, right? So this, if a particular machine can do this, then we call that particular machine as artificially intelligent. All right. Now, next, what comes under this point is something called as machine learning, right? So machine learning is basically it has a list of different statistical tools, okay, mathematical tools, okay, or methods. We call them as algorithms. The methods, okay, whose performance improve as they are exposed more and more to the data over a period of time. So okay, so these machines basically learn from the data. The more and more data that you generate or you expose your machine to, okay, so this machine will become more smarter, right? Now, next thing that you should be knowing is which comes under machine learning. So deep learning. A deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Okay, it's just a subset of machine learning in a new dimension, but it doesn't. The entire methodology of how a deep learning technique works is basically mimicked out of a human brain. So they are trying to build. Okay, when we are using deep learning techniques, we are trying to build some kind of a artificial neural network, okay, which is arranged in the layered form, and this layered form artificial neural network is capable of learning, right? So basically you are trying to mimic how our human brain thinks, right? So I have said you the overall architecture or overall system. So we have the artificial intelligence, the main field which is there. Under artificial intelligence, how we can build an artificial intelligence system is by using machine learning as well as deep learning technique. Okay, so deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and both these methods, that is deep learning as well as machine learning, can be used. Okay, this can be used for building an AI product. All right. So this was what I had to say you with respect to clarity on the field. Right now comes what are the various roles which are there under this data science umbrella. Okay, what all are the different levels of the roles? Okay, now with respect to the the roles, I would like to have these roles which I'll be telling you with respect to the data science. The first and the foremost thing is a data warehouse, right? So data warehousing, I'll be explaining you the concept of data warehousing. First, let us have a list of all of them. The second one is something called as a exploratory data analysis. This is a second, role which exists, set of roles. Okay. The third thing is something called as a model building, where we build models. What kind of those? What are those models? And all I'll be talking in a while, right? And there is something called as a model deployment. Now, for every stage or every set of profiles, there are specific job roles which are which exist basically. Okay, so if I have to tell you at the first level, okay, at the first level, that is at the data warehousing level, there exists a profile called data engineer. Okay, now I'll tell a little bit about what is data warehousing. See, in any organization, when a data scientist work, the main, you can call it as a raw material that is required for a data scientist to process and come out with some, interesting insights. Okay, he needs data, right? And this data is never clean. This data is never organized. So there should be some people who should be working behind making this data you know easily available for the people who will be deriving insights out of it, right? So these data engineers, they work on, they're basically, the basic job profile is to create a discipline with respect to the data, have a data consistency, right? Have this data readily available. Now they use various techniques, like they build something called Hadoop clusters. They use various warehousing tools like Informatica, right? So there are multiple things that have come up with respect to the data warehousing now, and it's also one of the emerging field. But at the same time, there are a lot of automations happening at this level of data science right now. Okay, so this profile called data engineering is is one, this was one of the very hot profile before even the data scientist was, right? So even now there are many opportunities with respect to data engineering as a profile. Okay, and I'll be telling you who should be capable of, or who should be aiming for these kind of profiles. Okay, so the next level in the in the next level in our in the hierarchy comes something called as a data analyst. Okay, now data analyst is a person who is normally working closely with the CXOs of the companies or some decision makers. So they will be working more on historical analysis of the data. Okay, they'll be doing some statistical analysis of the data, and they'll be preparing some reports based on multiple data visualization tools. I'll be talking about their job profiles in a while, but then just to give you some insight. So they basically work on the descriptive aspects of the data. When I say descriptive aspects, it's just like they want to get the insights from the existing historical data. So they just want to summarize, okay, what has already happened is the main question that they say. Okay, what has already happened? Can I, like see or look through what has already happened, and then have my strategies in place so that what I can do in future, right? They can think about what they can do in future. So they basically work on the reporting aspects. Like for example, okay, if a company want to understand how has been the historical performance of a particular company. Okay, they want to, the CEO of the company want to understand how many employees they have hired, how the revenues, what are the revenues that they have done, or what is the growth, is there a trend in that? So they'll be doing some basic statistical analysis based on that, right? Now what happens next is, okay, the person called data scientist comes into the picture. Okay, so a data scientist will automatically like have the skills of exploratory data analysis, because that is where his job start. Okay, now when I say exploratory data analysis, these are just the major phases. Okay, before even we do exploratory data analysis, there is something called as the data pre-processing. There are various other things which exist before we even do something called exploratory data analysis. I've just majorly categorized their roles. Okay, now if I put these three things under one capsule, that is your exploratory data analysis, the model building, and the model deployment, if I put these three things under one person, then he becomes a data scientist. Okay, a data scientist, I'll be talking about the skills that are required for him. But then if you want to talk about overall how is the job role classification for these profiles, okay, then this is how it is. Now I would like to take some questions. Okay, I would like to ask you some questions. and I would want you to ask me the questions which I can ask with with the current flow of my presentation. So I'll just take a 30 minutes halt to answer a few of your questions. Okay, I have some questions. The first question I have is, which will be the most secure job in next 15 years? Okay, uh, guys, I'll tell you, the world is so dynamic. If you talk about next 15 years right now, I'm not in a position to answer seriously. Okay, so I'll tell you because I'll just give you a small, example where I came across when I was attending one of the conferences. Okay, so in that conference, it had said that it took around 75 years for a telephone to get a 1 million subscribers. Okay, a telephone to get 1 million 100 million subscribers, not 1 million. Okay, and it took 2 years for Instagram to get 1 million subscribers, and it just took 1 month for Pokemon Go, okay, to get 100 million subscribers. So you don't know, in 15 years what will happen. Okay, so I would just say that in 15 years, you will be, as per my, if I have to answer that right now, the person should be technically sound. He should be having a multiple domain experience or whatnot. Okay, I maybe, he must be a person from data science domain, but then yes, should be equipped with multiple other stuff also, right? So there are some other questions which I have. I would like to answer them. Um, is there a demand of data analyst? Because nowadays so many are trained for data analyst. Okay, so guys, I'll tell you, it's nothing to do with how many are getting trained. Okay, so it's more of how well you are trained or how well you are equipped. Okay, so there are so many people who are trained, but then I'll tell you the people who are trained, like they might not have those skills to work on those profiles. We really don't know, we there maybe they may not be. But if you ask me how many jobs are coming in, there are plenty of jobs coming in, and we still don't have supply of quality data analysts, neither data scientists, to cater to this demand, right? I have seen more. Sir, is business analytics similar to data analytics? I'll just answer this question in a couple of slides. um, is augmented reality, and no, they are nowhere same. They may be somewhere related. You can have a combination of AI and augmented reality, but these are different domains. I have one more. Which profile has more scope for automation? Automation with respect to, if you ask me, like if you want to inculcate a machine learning or a deep learning approach in automation, then like it could be AI based automation, or there could be a programmatic automation also. So automation can be of multiple types, so we need to go in because it's a very broad domain again. Okay, is it necessary to have a big data knowledge? I'll answer this question in a while because I have that in my presentation. Can a master of commerce student be a data analyst? I'll also answer this question in my next slide. Okay, now since I have given you the classifications of the profiles, I think it's also required because you have asked me many questions. Okay, I have a small poll. I would like to know your domain. Okay, from which background you're coming. Okay, so if you can just help me understand that, I'll be able to give you the idea regarding where and how you should prepare for those profiles, right? For everybody, in fact, for all domains, I'll be telling how they should be preparing for the data science profiles. Okay, so I'll just let everybody answer this. So I'll just say that computer applications, when I say, you could be a BBA or a BCA graduate, or yeah, BBA or a BCA graduate, or anybody who has a little bit experience in something called as a MIS reporting. Those people, like a BCom person working in MIS, could be a computer application. Okay, that is your background. Now, when I say commerce and management, so commerce and management are the people, could be the marketing professionals. They could be the academic staff in the academic personnels in the commerce and the management field. They could be the accounting and finance people. Okay, so those are the people who are coming under the commerce and management. Statistics and math, when I say, they could be the BSc or a MSc or a engineering, any sort of engineering. They need not be computer science engineering, any sort of engineering domain. And when I say other could be your arts or any any other domain which is not which is not falling under the above domains, right? So I'll just say now what are the results that I have got. Okay, I have close to around 21% of the people participating from computer application domain, 37% of the people coming from the commerce and the management domain. I have somewhere around 24% people coming from statistics and mathematics, that is engineering, all engineering category domain, and around 17% of the people coming from other domains, right? So now I'll tell you a map. I have prepared one career map for you, which will really help you decide what kind of profiles you should take. Okay, now if you look at the left hand side of my this particular map, okay, it talks about the domain which I've asked you. Now they could be the computer application people, they could be the commerce and management or statistics. Okay, and what is the immediate transition in data science you can take? Okay, that I've mapped. Like for example, the people who are coming from computer applications domain, maybe BCA, maybe BBA, or maybe the computer science MS BSc people, or any people who have not studied mathematics in detail. Okay, but they have just studied the computer application aspects, or some people who have done their commerce or management and purely working on data right now. Okay, maybe MIS, handling the MIS reports or daily report preparation, whatever. Okay, these people can straight away target for data analyst profiles. Okay, that is the earliest transition that they can take. Okay, so they can become data analyst, and I'll be again in my next slide telling you what are the main responsibilities of data analyst, right? So now next, if you are a commerce and a management graduate, okay, so the commerce and the management graduates, if not graduates, if they are from arts domain or any other domain, but they are working in the marketing or they are working in finance or any related fields of the business. Okay, they can target for opportunities which come under something called business analytics professionals. Okay, I'll be also telling you about what a business analytics professional do and what kind of skill sets they need, right? And the people who fall under the science and mathematics category, the people who have studied statistics, okay, they have studied mathematics, like maybe they are from engineering domains or they are from the BSc MSc domain, the people who have struggled with the different techniques of linear algebra, calculus, whatever. Okay, all these people are they can straight away target for the data scientist profiles. Okay, now it's not like the person who is a data analyst cannot become a business analyst, or a person who is business analyst cannot become a data scientist. Okay, they can become, but I'm talking about the immediate thing that you can do. Okay, so these are the three profiles, these are the three major categories of the profiles which exist in the data science. Which are they? The first one is data analyst, the second one is business analytics professional, and the third one is data scientist, right? So anybody can become a data scientist in today's world, but just that you should you should get equipped with the relevant skill sets that are required to become one. All right, so I hope this was useful for you. If some people would like to take a screenshot of this slide, you can take a screenshot of this slide, because guys, this is the guiding slide for you. You can introspect on this, and you can decide to become, you can decide to take up your next career step in that particular direction. Okay, and why I say that everybody should target nowadays to become a data scientist or a data analyst is, people feel there is something called as demand. Is there a demand for this? Is there, many people were asking me in the chat also just now, is there a demand for it, and how much demand is there? I'll tell you guys, this is a fourth industrial revolution that we are undergoing. It's not a bubble, right? So, like if you remember back in the days where computer was newly introduced in India, okay, people were like crazy. They were resisting to use the computers. But now, if you ask me, every desk has a system on their place. Okay, every desk, the person who is sitting on a desk is not sitting without a computer system. Okay, now the same way, without having a access to the ideas about the data, you cannot take decisions. That's the reason we need the people, and even the smallest companies will be needing the professionals who can analyze data. So you really don't know how big demand is coming in this particular field. And especially you'll be knowing about the new things, the new steps which the government has taken nowadays, that they are teaching computer programming even to the 6th standard students, right? It's not like you should be knowing computer programming completely to become a data analyst, but like it's a good step in a way to like encourage students and build their confidence with respect to learning this, adopting this kind of a future job profiles, right? Now, talking about how are the data analyst, the business analyst, and the data scientist different. I would like to have a little bit more discussion around this, and I would like to give you a clarity on how these profiles are different. Okay, so let's say that we have a data analyst. Okay, see, a data analyst should be equipped with he should be skilled in these different tools. Okay, I'll be further elaborating on this. There are some data visualization tools. Okay, especially something called as a Tableau. There is something called as a Power BI. There is something called as a Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel is for data management as well as data analysis as well as data visualization. It's a multi-purpose tool available on everybody's system, right? And we have something called as a SQL. SQL is a database. I feel SQL is something which, even if you're not planning to make a transition to data science, you should learn, because every database is available in the form of a SQL database. Okay, or there are some other tools also. I'll be telling you in my next slide. And a little bit, if not very very confident of like programming skills, but it's a very very user friendly programming language that exists on the earth right now, that is Python. It's very very simple. It's no more like something called C programming or C++ programming. No, a very very user friendly syntax which everybody can learn on their ease. It's very simple. So I say that a data analyst, and I say everybody on the earth should be a data analyst in the next 5 years. I strongly emphasize on this point. And these are the tools that everybody should be doing. Okay, when I say Tableau or Power BI, I'm not very much like not very much emphasizing on learn both, because both the tools are serving the same purpose of data visualization. But I would like to ask you one question. The question will be popping up on your screen. Okay, can you tell me, can you rate your expertise on the Microsoft Excel quickly? Okay, okay, there are many people answering, and I can see uh, kind of a very much mixed response with respect to the expertise in Excel. All right. So 6 people have said that they are poor. They are just beginners in the Excel. There are around 10 people, 10% of the people who are saying that they are at the level 2. 17% of the people are saying that they're okay, they can handle Excel. And again, 17% are saying somewhere around like four star, and then only 9 experts are there who are professionals in Excel, it seems. Now guys, I'll tell you, this is one of the handy tool that you have, which you can learn very easily and learn a lot of statistics in it, because Excel has so much of statistics in it that you can learn, like without a pen and a paper, you can learn statistics in a whole different way, right? And I would urge everybody, if you are planning to begin your career in data science anywhere, okay, so what I say is just like take some data and start analyzing that data using Excel. Learn some basic tools. I would like to highlight some important tools. Like, you should know, like how do you do something called descriptive statistics, which include the mean, median, modes, whatever basic statistical approach, and how do we interpret that, how to plot some basic graphs, okay, how to show some distributions like the pie chart, the bar charts, whatever. Okay, these charts you should be comfortable drawing these charts so that you can analyze that data. So analysis part comes next, but you should be handy with the tools at least, right? So I would urge everybody, learn Excel, learn SQL. I'll be talking more about these tools in my next slide. Plus, if I see, along with these tools, okay, along with these things that you have, learn statistics, okay, apply this with these tools. And if you have a very strong business understanding, okay, if you know like how business models work, if you're coming from finance accounts domain, if you're coming from marketing domain, you should be having this strong understanding about the business models, right? So if you are, having a business flavor in you, you can become something called as a data analytics business analytics professional. Okay, so a data analyst combining the business understanding skills or business acumen skills can play a role of a business analytics professional. All right. So let's also understand now, the data scientist approach. Okay. So if you are a business analyst, so you just see now how a data scientist should be. Okay. So if you are a data analyst, if you know how, like if you have all the skills of a data analyst, at the same time, you have all the skills of a business analyst. Along with that, you have skills to analyze or understand advanced statistics and use some advanced statistical models for some future predictions. Okay, you have a strong programming skills. Okay, many people say that okay, data scientists don't need programming. I highly, argue on that point that no, every data scientist should be a good programmer. Okay, he should be a good programmer, and it's not like you cannot learn programming can be learned by everybody. It is very easy. I know people who have learned, who have come from bachelor of arts background and bachelor of or master of arts background. They have become a Python developer themselves, right? So it's nothing like you cannot learn. Then you also need to have a strong machine learning methods understanding. There are some machine learning algorithms. You need to have an understanding about the machine learning algorithms. If you have a strong machine learning and understanding as well as deep learning, then this person, the combination of all these skill sets, is the person who is a data scientist. Okay, so he has the business knowledge also. He has, he is supposed to be talking to the stakeholders. He is supposed to be taking the requirements from the same stakeholders. He is supposed to understand what is the problem that the people are facing, convert that problem into the solution by using a data based approach. And he should be he should be knowing which tools to use to solve that particular problem. Okay, so these are the combination of skills which make you a data scientist, right? Now next, like what should be your path. Okay, what should be your learning path, okay, if you want to become a data analyst. Okay, so many people were asking, how do I become a data analyst? Okay, now if you follow the series of steps that I'm telling you immediately now, okay, you can successfully become a data analyst. Okay, just see here. If you are at this moment, okay, this moment of time, okay, so you should first learn statistics very well, and don't learn only the theoretical aspects of statistics. You should be able to apply statistics to solve some real life problems. Okay, so once you get a strong understanding about the statistics, you can use, if you're a non-programmer, you can use simple Excel. And this learning path, that especially data analyst learning path, is for a non-programmer. Okay, so once you acquire a statistical knowledge, use that statistical knowledge, along with the Excel, by analyzing some data, solving some, business problems using data. There are multiple practice data sets which are available on the open, if you search on internet, you'll get a lot of data sets available on Kaggle, GitHub. You can download that, start analyzing it in Excel itself, right? After you apply, after you learn the advanced Excel along with the statistics, the next thing that you can target is study data management tools. Okay, when I say data management tools, one of the very handy data management tool that is available is something called as a MySQL. Okay, you should know MySQL well. You should be able to, retrieve data from the databases, because what happens is in Excel you have a limitation on the way you store the data or how much data is stored. Okay, so only if you have a databases in place, like like Microsoft SQL Server, or you have something called as your, MySQL or Cassandra, or there is something called as, there are a lot of NoSQL frameworks which exist. Okay, so these frameworks, if you learn SQL, you should be able to learn everything else. You should just, like target to learn SQL very well first. Okay, and that's the only data management tool that I would like you to, start with when you're starting your learning path. All right, the next thing is, you should be having a domain understanding. Now a lot of people have, the experience. A lot of people have the background experience. Like some people come from like marketing background, some people come from accounts background, some people come from pharmacy background, okay, some medical background. healthcare background, many different backgrounds, or telecom background. Some people have come mass and like mass media and communication background. Now these people should blend their domain understanding with the problem that they are analyzing using data. Okay, see, data only cannot work in standalone. It should be worked along with blending of your domain expertise. Okay, if you are a fresher, you can ignore this part of domain understanding, but especially if you are a person belonging to a particular domain, work there from last 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever, you must have definitely got a lot of understanding or a lot of challenges in that particular domain, and you should try to see how you can use the statistics or whatever you have learned in your last three steps and apply them to your domain. That's very important. Without applying it to a particular domain, you won't be able to understand the power of data, right? The next thing that you should be learning is something called concept of data visualization. See, guys, I'll tell you, you just cannot build any graph or any visualization because you feel it, that particular visualization is good. Okay, there is a science behind every visualization, and if you wanted to refer to how to build effective visualization, you should refer to the previous webinar by Mr. Manikanta. It is there on our website. You can check under the webinar section. That is data storytelling. Okay, I think storytelling using data. Okay, I urge everybody, you should have a look at that particular webinar. If you have attended that webinar, you must have understood there is really a science behind learning this data visualization aspects. Okay, and if you want to learn data visualization for free, okay, just drop me a mail after the session. Okay, I'll send you one course on Coursera, which you can take even if you're a non-programmer, even if you don't know anything about data science. Okay, I'll give you one course. You can take up that course. That course really will help you understand how data is actually visualized. Okay, what are the different aspects, what are the different laws, scientific laws, which applies to data visualization. Okay, that's one of the very important aspect of data analyst. And many data analysts, if you ask them, do you know visual analytics or do you know the concept of how the data is visualized, they fail to tell you that which kind of visualization should be using when. A lot of people, they focus on learning the tools. Tools are not everything. Tools will change. I don't know whether you're using Excel today or a Python today. I don't know after 10 years that tool will be used. Tools can become obsolete, but then the research process, the process of arriving at a particular solution, that won't change, right? So I want you to be more research oriented rather than process oriented or tool oriented. Tools are not important. The research that you do, or the IQ that you have with respect to problem solution, is the more important that I would like to highlight, right? Now, once you learn the data visualization aspect, I would say that you should be learning some tools. There are some, tools which are available on, like these are, some of them are free, some of them are paid. Like Tableau gives you 1 year free license. I don't know if they're doing it right now, but then 1 year, 6 months back, they were giving you a free license for learning. Okay, learning Tableau, because even Tableau want the workforce to be ready when they come and start working in the companies, right? So just the way like everybody learns Excel today, because people use Excel because everybody knows Excel. Okay, everybody knows Excel. They need not be trained on it. That's the reason Excel is so famous. The same way, even Tableau is pushing everybody to learn Tableau by giving a free 1 year license. Okay, but there is also a very important tool which I would like to keep get to your highlight. There is something called as a data studio, that is by Google. If you just search on the internet for something called as a data, Google data studio, I challenge a dumbest person who have not at all taken any course in data science, zero in data science, not even have learned the basics of it, you will be able to learn data studio in 2 to 3 hours. Okay, if you just take a particular sample data set, load it into a data Google data studio, you will be able to learn the usage aspects of data studio. It is so simple and so intuitive that anybody can learn it. I urge everybody to like open Google data studio today and just start doing some basic charting on it. Okay, so you can, there are multiple, there is a gallery inside the Google data studio also. You can refer to that gallery and try to replicate some of the charts. Okay, so this would be a very important, very interesting thing for you to do on your own, right? So learn one of these data visualization tools. Okay, once, these are also called as a business intelligence tool. They're called BI tools. Okay, so you just, for your reference, you can, if you want to make a note of it, these are called business intelligence tools. All right. So once you learn Tableau or Power BI or Data Studio, you will be also blending with, you'll be using those tools along with your data visualization concepts, so that you are able to use right charts and tell a right story, right? The next is you should do some relevant projects relating to your domain, especially if you are a working professional wanting to make a career into data, data analyst, want to become a data analyst based on whatever procedure that I've told you in the previous slide, right? So what you should do is you should take up some data sets, maybe from your own company. You can tell your own company people that I can help prepare some reports. Take that initiative. Okay, it's not like, people will give you, some kind of a magic solution that you learn data, data science or data analyst and become a data analyst. Many people were asking me like, will people get jobs? So I'll tell you guys, there is a concept of something called as the survival of fittest. Okay, you should be smart enough to get, what kind of jobs that are there in the market. Okay, and I'll tell you, the way you have got your current job, the getting job in data science is also a similar procedure. It is again, it's a hard work, it's a pure hard work, and that hard work cannot be replaced. And that hard work, when I say following the learning path with a discipline, is that hard work, right? When I say you should do some relevant projects, I'll tell you, how for free of cost you can do projects. You can connect with the data scientist, you can connect with the data analyst, connect to hundreds of data analysts, connect to hundreds of data scientists, ask them if they can, you can do a small project under them. Okay, so that is how you can get a project, that is how you can get a data and start working on it and get some validation from them. Ask them, this is what I've built, is it something that you build in your company, right? Once you learn, entire thing, not like, tell them today that yes, I have learned these things, and without even learning, you send them saying, like, I have learned these things, and then give me some project. They'll say, they'll ask you some basic questions you won't be able to answer. So what I recommend is, once you understand all these aspects, you can always connect with them, tell them that these are the things that I've learned, I would like to do a project under you. There are many of the people who are ready to help. I myself help the people whom I'm mentoring. I tell them these approaches, and it has worked for them, right? So next is, you always, even if you are a working professional or you're a fresher, I highly urge you to first do an internship. It may be an online internship. There are various means, and various means by which you can apply for the internships. Spend around 3 to 4 hours working on that particular internship in a day, or you can, if you want to contribute during the weekend, be open, write mails to people, ask them, if you can get some data analyst internship. And then after you do this, you start your job process. See, once you have that experience about the internship, but once you have that experience about how do you, the how do you do the actual data analysis, it'll be very easy for you to convince the recruiters. When you go for the interviews, you'll be able to answer those questions, right? So now, after doing all these things, you'll become a data analyst. Okay, you can easily, approach these profiles, and you can become one. Now I'll also discuss with you the career path for a data science, okay, or a data scientist. So as a data scientist, the first step is the same, or you can, if someone wanting to become a data scientist, can follow all that path that I said before, but along with that, you'll have to do something extra. Okay. Now, if there is a technical person, an engineering person, okay, the person who's coming from MSc, or a person who's coming from BSc background, who have, studied the concept of statistics, mathematics somewhere in their life. Okay, because I know everything you wouldn't be able to remember, you would have forgotten many of the things, so you'll have to brush off those skills, you'll have to get retrained on those skills, right? And you'll have to learn Python programming very, very well. The reason I tell people to learn Python is because of the community support, okay, and the acceptance. Many of the companies are using, see, there is an alternative to Python, there is something called R. Okay, but then I urge people to learn Python is because one reason is very, very simple. Second, very huge community support. If you're getting stuck anywhere, you can just Google and find a solution on your own. And there is a way by which you can Python, learn Python on your own also, right? You can, like, build up that confidence. You can, like, connect with the people. And also there are a lot of job profiles available. You can become a Python developer itself, right? Even a non-technical person can become a Python, a Python programmer, right? Now, once you learn Python programming well, you need to have a very, very strong understanding about each and every machine learning method. Okay, there are several machine learning algorithms. When I say that, non-technical people will see that these are something which is like going above our head, the algorithm, but the algorithm is nothing but a method. Okay, so there are multiple methods in machine learning that you need to learn, and these methods work for different kind of solutions. So you should be having a strong understanding behind of working of those algorithms. Okay, now when I say working, many people, what they do is they use these methods as a black box. Okay, if you use this as a black box, you won't be able to you won't be able to become a good data scientist, neither you will get a job. Many of the people, what they do is they skip the working part of it. They say that no, this is not required, I'll just learn how to build a how to solve the problem. But solving problem has multiple implications. It has something called as a time implication, it has something called as accuracy implication. So all those things you need to be able to assess. That's the reason you need to know the working of every machine learning technique. Okay, now of course what I told for the data analyst, it also applies. You should learn SQL and know SQL. Okay, once you learn SQL and know SQL, the next immediate thing that a person who is coming from an engineering domain, or the third category of the the profile or a background which I was talking before, they should be learning a little bit, not much, a little bit about data engineering. Because in industry, like, people want you to know many things. Okay, and one of those many things is something called Hadoop or and Spark. Okay, there is something called Spark, which is even better than Hadoop. It's one of the big data technology that is practiced in the market today. So perhaps you should learn this also. You may skip this also, no problem. But then I recommend that you should include this thing in your learning path, right? So that will be easy for you to get a job. Next is, of course, you should be learning Tableau, Power BI, Data Studio, anything, any data visualization tool. And then you should also learn something called as cloud technologies. Okay. Now these cloud technologies, the two of them are very famous. There is something called as a AWS. AWS is Amazon Web Services. There's something called Microsoft Azure. Okay. There's also something called as a GCP, which is called Google Cloud Platform. That also you can learn. Okay. Any of this cloud technology will make you familiar with overall what all things exist in these cloud technologies. Okay, and why you're learning these cloud technologies is because whatever application that you're built, uh, a technical person has built, he should be able to deploy and make it usable for the people at large. Okay, so you should be able to convert the entire problem into the endpoint usability, right? And that's the reason the technique or a skill about deploying a particular model is very, very important. Okay, now once you deploy a model, I say that you can keep your deep learning aspects, the learning about deep learning. In fact, you can learn it immediately after machine learning, but then you can include the deep learning aspects in the end. The reason is deep learning requires a very, very strong understanding about calculus. It requires a strong understanding about algebra, like linear algebra. Okay, so you should be knowing multiple things. So it takes a little bit of time for brushing up your skills on the linear algebra or calculus and all before you learn machine learning. Or you may be even like, those are the basic concepts that you need. You don't need a very, very high end concept, but then a normal operational part of deep learning need to be understood. You cannot treat it as a black box again, right? So once you learn, there are multiple deep learning techniques. There's something called as a artificial neural network. There is something called as a convolutional neural network, and there is something called as a recurrent neural network and long short term memory neural network. There are multiple types of neural network which exist in deep learning. Okay, once you learn these things, okay, then you become a data scientist. Now I'll tell you what all things you can eliminate when you are searching for a job. You can eliminate to an extent a deep learning and target only machine learning profiles and enter the market. Still you become a data scientist. Okay, or a machine learning engineer. You basically become a machine learning engineer. Okay, there are specific profiles with respect to like the deep learning engineers also. So there are multiple aspects of it. Okay, so you should be clear about what are the different steps. These are the different steps, and if you follow this learning path, guys, and of course the last 3 points that I said, the the relevant projects, the internship, whatever. Okay, those things will make you a successful data scientist. See, guys, I'll tell you, many people are not getting jobs in the market today. Okay, even after learning data science, they're struggling to get job. And one of the very reason is, one, lack of practice. Second is no proper learning path followed. Okay, many people don't follow a proper learning path, and they get highly confused on what to learn and what not to learn, right? That's the reason I highly recommend this is a slide which will guide you what you should learn, in what sequence you should learn. Perhaps in my future webinars sometime I'll be covering what are the important topics that you should be learning under each and every domain. Okay, so maybe in my future webinars I'll include those things also, right? So now, what are the various career profiles and salaries which people are most, in the salary is something which people love, okay, they want to understand, okay, and I want you to estimate, okay, how much a data analyst should be earning. I've just given an option to you, a data scientist for the first time, okay. So I'm giving some options to you. Can you just vote, what do you think, how much do they earn? Okay, and I'm saying like this is a mid-career data scientist, not a fresher data scientist, a mid-career data scientist, how much he should be earning. I'm talking about the average, not the highest, not the minimum. Okay, I have a lot of figures here, and I think to an extent some of them are right also. Okay, I have the results with me. There are only 1% of the people, they are saying that a data scientist, like a person in his mid career, he will be earning somewhere around 2 to 5 lakh. Okay, there are 33% of the people, they feel that the person, a median of the person, a median level of the salary will be 10 to 12 lakh. Okay, around 28% of the people feel that there are, like 12 to 15 lakh. I would like to also talk about the data analyst. Okay, I'll just put a poll for a data analyst. I want you to estimate how much it could be, and then I'll tell you what are the exact figures. Okay, so can you tell me how much a data analyst should be earning? I'm seeing in the mid levels of his career, 2 to 3 years of experience, data analyst. Okay, okay, I am still getting some more votes. Let us see. Okay, great. I have 45% of the people saying a mid-career data analyst will be earning 8 to 10 lakh. Okay, that's good. 26 people says 5 to 26% of the people says 5 to 8 lakh, and there are 15% of the people who are saying around 50, like 10 to 12 lakh. Okay, so I'll just tell you next. Okay, what are the profiles and what are the salary trends? Okay, these are the various profiles that you can work on. The basic profile, a very very basic profile, is a data analyst profile. Okay, and I've given the figures in terms of US dollars. In the next slide I'll be giving you the figures with respect to Indian rupees also. So first is a data analyst profile, somewhere around 62,000 US dollars per year. Okay, so we have next business analyst. A business analyst, I told you, he'll be having an additional business understanding, and he'll be able to guide or help or assist senior level people in taking decisions with respect to the business. The next is database administrator. Okay, the DBAs, they also come under the umbrella of data science. Next is statisticians, the people who you study statistics well, and they are able to help the people who are in the business or in any field, like in healthcare or telecom, in any field, by applying statistical procedures for taking some decisions. Okay, those are the people who are statisticians. Data engineers, as I told you, the people who manage the data warehouse. Okay, those people are like next in the hierarchy. There is something called data architect. Now data architect is having a knowledge about data engineering also. He has a knowledge about statistics also. He has a business understanding also. Okay, so he is the person next in the hierarchy, and this is how people get promoted in data science profiles. Okay, not you won't become a database administrator, but you may take any of these profiles, you may. Okay, and most generic one that people get is something called as a junior data scientist or associate data scientist or data analyst or a business analyst. These are like the titles are just titles, but what job they do is what matters more, right? And you have then the data and analytics manager. Okay, he is responsible for handling multiple projects, so he should be also having the project management skills. Okay, the data and analytics manager, he is supposed to have a team building skills. Okay, he should be having that leadership skills. He should be having all the data science skills. The data engineering aspect should also he should be knowing. So these are a combination of skills that he possesses. Okay, and then you become a data scientist. Especially I call the designation as a principal data scientist. A principal data scientist has a cross domain knowledge. He also has a domain, a strong understanding about IT practices, like something called agile, or various methodologies which are present in software development. Okay, those things also a principal data scientist will be having. A data scientist nowadays has become a very generic name. Even if a person is doing a data analysis work, they call them as a data scientist. You should be carefully observing the kind of job profile that a particular job or particular company is giving in the market, and only after analyzing that and asking the recruiter some crucial questions, you should decide to join that particular profile or not. Because nowadays I see that like all profiles are having an analyst word appended to it. Like for example, I see some people call the people in the marketing as sales analyst. Okay, some people call the people in HR as HR analyst. I don't know, I really doesn't make any sense for me, because they're not analyzing data. They're just doing the normal operational work. That is the reason you should be very careful while choosing the job profiles also. Okay, now next, I would like to have the salary trends in India. Okay, and year wise, I have collected the data so that you understand the trends in the salaries. Okay, so a person, a data scientist, less than 1 year, could be earning somewhere around 5 lakh. Okay, around 1 to 4 lakh. Like this is the median. Okay, this is a median or the average. You can take anything, but it's not minimum or a maximum. There are people who could be getting 10 lakh as a fresher or 15 lakh as a fresher. I don't know. That could be. Okay, so I'm talking about what you should be expecting. If you are 1 year experience, any domain, okay, less than 1 year's experience, around 5 lakh, 1 to 4 years, around 6 lakh, 5 to 9 years, 10 lakh, and 10 to 19 years, more than 20 lakh. Okay, so this could range based on the company profile. Okay, so this survey is done by one of the renowned organization. I would not like to take the name because I'm not mentioning the source on the website. I'm sorry for that, but then like it's a valid data that I've collected. And yes, these are the expectations that you can have with respect to the the data scientist profiles. Now for a data analyst profiles, these are the expectations that you can have. Like for 1 to 4 years, you can have somewhere around like 3 to 4 lakh. Okay, then 6 to 8 lakh, then up to 9 lakh. So data analyst over a period of time should upskill himself to go into the bigger aspects of businesses, or bigger aspects of data science. So you should be learning all those tools which data scientists should be learning in order to have a growth in the career. Okay, so data scientist is basically kind of a subset of your data, and data analyst is is a subset of your data scientist profile. Okay, now talking about what it takes, I have been saying this in my every conference. I have been saying this in my every webinar. Okay, what it takes is not the skills about the data science that you can acquire from anywhere, but the most important thing that it takes for you to become a data, get a transition into the field or a breakthrough into the field, is a hard work. Okay, without hard work this cannot happen, right? The second is perseverance. You should be highly committed to it. You should be having a lot of patience to crack into this field. It's not that easy. You are lucky to get, if you get it very easily, right? Commitment, as I like, these are all talking about your personal traits. What kind of a traits, or what kind of like person you should be. You should be focused. You should have a sheer dedication. Nothing, everything else can be managed. You can manage your fear about programming. You can manage like learning the tools, learning the math behind it, whatever. Okay, all that you can learn only if you have these five things: hard work, perseverance, commitment, focus, and dedication. Only if you have this, if you feel that I'm the person who can be this, you can be jumping into this profile. Otherwise, guys, you'll be wasting your time also. You'll be wasting a lot of money if you are spending it in learning these things somewhere, right? Now, next is top recruiters. Guys, I'll tell you this. I'm just putting these things because you should get an understanding about where is data science, where who hires data scientists the most. But don't hesitate to join even startups, because you get to learn so many things from the startup. Like you get to know the like you get to know, you have access of so many tools, so many technologies. But if you're working for a bigger company, you may or may not have that opportunity. The startup provide you that opportunity to work across different tools, right? Now next is yes, I would like to have welcome you guys to ask me questions about whatever you have with respect to what I have presented in my presentation. If I have skipped any of the point, please excuse me for that. You can mail me your doubts. Okay, I'll be giving my mail ID to you. You can ask me any questions which you have with respect to your career now. You can start. You can like type it in the chat box. Okay, I have, which are the profiles suitable for MBA student? I've already told you. I think you should be referring to the the chat which I have, I mean to say the slide which I have given with respect to management students, right? More about data analyst. I think like I have told enough information about a data analyst. Uh, okay, I'll just tell a few more. I'm getting so many questions. In fact, okay. Uh, will AI replace job roles as a data scientist? Maybe. No, it may not, because like data science is a more of a research job, and research cannot be automated. Okay. Any resources, books, courses you would like to recommend? Okay, I'll tell some. I'll be mailing you some. You can wait for my mail. After completing a data science course, one can automatically become a BA if coming from sales background? Of course, yes. Okay. Sheshkant, I think that's the implied thing, that if you're coming from the sales background and if you have all the skills, that then you are definitely you're a BA. But then, like, if you have the more high-end skills, the other skills, then you can become a data scientist. So what is the best source to like learn statistics? Soumya, I'll tell you, like, until now I have not found a very good source to learn, but then you can refer some books. There is a book called Statistics in Plain English. You can refer to that book for learning statistics. Okay, you can Google for it. It is freely available. You can just type in Google saying Statistics in Plain English, PDF. You'll get the download of it. So is there a noting, is there nothing called sales analyst? I'll tell you, Shishkant, it's more about people try to market, the HR people trying to market the profile, because nobody applies for sales otherwise. Okay, so they put a word analyst everywhere in their profiles. Every profile is called analyst profile nowadays. So sir, can you suggest some books for visualizations? um, it's Sumant. Yeah, Sumant, I'll be sharing with you one course. Okay, or you can Google for it. There is something called as a applied visual perception. Okay, you can search for that course on Coursera. Applied visual perception. uh, you can, like, it's I think it's by Oxford. I don't recollect which university it is, or I think it's New York State University. Yes, it's NYSE. You can search for applied visual perception by NYSE. Okay, so that course is really good. Okay, you can take that up. It's free. You can take it on Coursera. um okay, your story to get into this. Yes, I would like to share, but then it's a long story. I would definitely share my story perhaps in my next webinar. I'll be doing more webinars coming in future. Can you suggest some courses regarding business analytics? Maybe you can have a look at business choice business analytics course. It's, I think they're giving some discounts also. You can check it out. It's a really good course. Are there any business opportunities for starting a new? See, guys, if you want to like start a business into the data science, it takes like a lot of efforts. You need to first start working somewhere and get some experience. After perhaps you have 2 to 3 years or 4 years of experience, you can apply on some platforms like Upwork or many freelancing platforms. Once you have those like skills, you can apply for a job, like bid for the jobs, and then you start working as a freelancer, and then perhaps you can start your consulting firm. It's a long process. Don't expect that you'll complete a course and then straight away get a company into data science. No, it won't happen. Have been running a family business from last 20 years. Completed BSc chemistry way back in 2003. Possible to get a job into? It is not impossible, it is possible. But first question I would like to ask you is, why we want to go away from a family business? If you can like do something better in there, I don't think that you should be taking alternate career options. But if you want the individual mentoring, if you really want to decide on whether to do it or not, you can talk to, like, you can have my contact. I think, like, we can have a individual talk with you to understand why you want to. I can definitely help you with that. There is statistics that showed you were private data scientist and analyst. Okay, there, the statistic that showed you were a private data scientist and analyst. I didn't get your question. I'm sorry, Kiran. I think there is Akit. I didn't get your question, Akit. Market research and analytics. Yeah, no, guys. Like, market research is more to do with the like, it's kind of a data analyst job where you apply market research techniques to it. Okay, I won't classify it as a complete data scientist job, but a data scientist should be knowing a market research approaches also. Okay, he will be definitely good at that. But if you have been good, if a market research specialist will be having an in-depth knowledge about the market research. but whatever skills are supposed to be known should be there with the data scientist. So every data scientist is indirectly a market research person also, right? So I think, I have addressed most of your doubt. Some of your doubts I could not answer. I can perhaps, you can drop a mail to me. The mail ID is omkar@businesstoys.in. Okay. Omkar@businesstoys.in. OMKAR@businesstoys.in. You can drop me a mail. You can also mail your doubts, any questions you have, to Vashisht Kumar. Okay. He can also like redirect your questions or any help that you need from me. Okay. You'll have to first let me know. You'll have to book a small like calendar appointment. You'll have to check my schedule, and we can definitely have a private talk to discuss about your career transition. Okay. And if you want, and you can check out Business Toys website. There are many courses which you can take up. You can approach them, and then definitely, we will try to help you to make a career transition. Okay. So guys, that's it. I really thank. I am really, impressed that we still have 636 people still attending the webinar. I'm really happy to have you guys here, and I would, like really encourage you guys to have participating in Business Toys workshop in future. You have, I just, I'm really urge you to keep track of our webinars under the webinar section of our website. We do webinars every weekend. Maybe we'll be doing in the coming weekend also if there is a slot. And keep track of what webinars are happening. Okay, I'll be more than happy to help you. Right. I hope you found this webinar really impactful and helpful, and helped you to understand a lot of things. We'll definitely see you in future again. Goodbye. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining, guys.